7 o'clock, I'll now call this meeting to order. Will you all join me in the salute to the flag record?
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just want to remind the television audience that the call-in number for this meeting is 930-8189. 930-8189. I now have roll call. All are present. Item 4, acceptance of agenda, acceptance of the minutes of August 16th meeting.
Move to accept as is.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to accept the minutes of August 16 meeting. Any discussion? And then I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? 4, 1 abstention. Item 5, acceptance of agenda.
No 11th hour.
No 11th hour.
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to accept the agenda as amended in the no 11th hour. Any discussion on the motion? Here now, call for vote. All those in favor? 4-0. Item 6 on our agenda, open to the public. Anyone from the public like to speak at this time? Move to item 7, then new business. 7A, police policy book review. James, what do you have?
Yeah, the chief is updating the policy book for us. Basically what he's presented and what we reviewed in the workshop were there have only been 2 changes to the policy book in the past year, which you have already approved. Those are the Giglio warning policy and the use of video, the use of videos. And the only other change comes from the Maine Criminal Justice Academy in the area of the FTO, the Field Training Officer section, and they've extended the time that the Field Training Officer has to be with a new recruit. Other than that, as I copied the manual's table of contents for you in the last meeting, you'll see the dates date all the way back to 1999 when we first, 1997 when we first adopted the policy, and all the updates are dated within the policy as well.
Is this our first time addressing this?
This is the second.
So we did this at a public meeting before? Or at a regular selectmen's meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Grab my phone. The chief will respond if you have questions.
I move that we accept the policy change.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to accept the policy changes in the police policy book. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All those in favor? 5-0.
There's 2 copies.
7B, the extension of the wastewater agreement with Kenny Estates here in Searsport.
Yes. As we discussed earlier, the 10-year agreement with Kinney's Estates on the wastewater extension is about up. And I think when we originally wrote this document, it was envisioned that there'd be some changes in between. There was talk of sales, there was talk of making the roads public roads, and at this point, since none of that is taking place, it's Howard and my recommendation, and of course after speaking with the Kinneys as well, that we simply extend the contract with some guarantees that if there's a sale in between, then they come online immediately. But at this point, just to extend it either, and the board needs to decide whether we want to extend it 5 or 10 years.
Okay, what's you and Howard's recommendations as 5 or 10? Any?
10.
10?
10 was the original.
Yeah,
right, Jim?
10 was the original, and 10's the
Proposed.
proposed extension. And if anything happens in between, it nullifies it. It triggers it to be renegotiated with the new owner.
I was going to recommend 10 just because none of those things foreseeably are looking to change, and it seems. I mean, I helped. I think Dick through there too.
Yeah, you and I were on that
We
one.
put this thing together. It's worked well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think in hindsight, I think we made the right decision, and I don't think things are going to change. So might as well just keep it.
Okay.
10 years goes by quick.
You gonna make a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion that we extend that for 10.
Second.
And that is just for Kenny's himself, right?
It's the wastewater agreement between the town
And Kenny's, right.
estate.
Right, with the provision of
Right.
changing ownership.
Okay, motion made and seconded to extend the agreement for 10 years. Any discussion? All those in favor? 5-0, Jim. C, Route 1 speed change request.
Yeah, within minutes of the last accident on Route 1, the fatality over by the Stockton line, I was receiving some emails from folks concerned about the speed. At this point, I don't know what the cause of that accident. I don't think the state police has necessarily released that yet, but obviously 2 cars traveling at each other at 50 or 55 miles an hour, or when the speed limit says 50, it means they're going to be doing 60. And if the speed limit says 55, they're going to be doing 65, is a little unreasonable for that particular area of town. There's a lot more residents going in there. There's a little bit of growth going on right now, and I did tell the folks that emailed that we would bring this forward, and if the board would like, we'll send a letter to MDOT to review that. Of course, Mark, you live there. You know what it's like up in that section. So
I sure do.
it's I think it's regardless of the accidents, and we've had 2 really bad ones up there. I think it's worth having the DOT come take a look.
There's several spots along there that is just really dangerous, especially like if somebody's coming out of the flea market there.
Yeah.
And people are just speeding it. They can't get in line there. I mean, there's been near misses
Yep.
there.
James, have you drafted something up at this point? or-
I have not at this point.
So you're just looking for kind of direction to
Well,
do that and bring it to us? or-
yes. And it would either be, if you want it forwarded, I can forward it, or we can bring it back to the next meeting to sign.
I think if we're going to do it, we might as well sign it. Might as well make it
Yeah.
effective.
No, yeah,
Have as much influence
Right,
as
just
possible.
ask them to take a look at that
Well,
area, and,
or else why are we doing that?
Request
Might as well
change.
just sign
That's all we can do, right? We have no
right, we have no
authority.
authority.
Right, you can only request that the engineers take a look and consider a change. And we
Yeah.
have been successful in the past. The section by Steamboat and Irving Station, that was at one point 45. It was actually a 45 in one direction and a 35 in the other. And we did manage to get them to come down to 35 and 30. And in the end, I think they finally settled on 35. And that has made a
I
pretty
think that's been very
significant
helpful.
change.
Yeah. We also,
And we may need to have them look at that again with the additional
Yeah.
impact of growth. So.
I think we should be 45 up in that area.
we were also successful too, at Irvin, it went from 35 to 50,
Yes, yeah, we graduated.
and
And it went to
They-
45.
they went
That's
to
a good.
45, and then 50 down by the ice cream stand.
Have they ever looked at this before, James? It's been a problem for years.
Every few years, we're addressing it with them, so it's an ongoing. Now, we've never stretched out this as far as we're going to ask them to stretch out.
Okay.
It's always been closer to town when, there's been more accidents and such. But at this point, I think the frequency of accidents in that section really does demand them to take a good look at it.
I'm in favor of James writing a letter and we can
Right.
vote and sign the letter for the next meeting.
Yeah.
Table?
I guess technically I would move the table it.
You know, I remember when that was 60 through there, and it seemed like we had less accidents then than we do now.
People are more preoccupied now.
Yeah.
It's at least 60 now, it's just not on the sign.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, it was posted 60.
Yeah.
I think in your letter, James, you should probably state that it looks like that is our area of future growth and it's gonna be addressed.
So I'll make a motion we table and
I'll second that.
vote on it and sign it at the next meeting.
You
Move the table
table the
to the next regular meeting.
request.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
And we can formally vote on the actual letter and sign it at the next meeting.
okay.
To include, it'll be dealt with at the next meeting, Aaron?
Yeah, table to the next regular meeting.
Okay, motion been made and seconded to table this till the next regular meeting. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Can I have one second?
It'll be, just a couple more items, okay? Item 9, correspondence.
A couple of quick items in correspondence. Maine Municipal has issued its dividend payments, and they're pleased to announce that in our workers' compensation fund, we are receiving a check back from them of I already cashed a check, so it's good. It was over $5,000, and I didn't copy the check. So you'll have to believe me when I say we as soon as we got it in our hands, we handed it over to the bookkeeper, and it's in the bank. But it's over $5,000 is our. We've had a pretty good year of no claims. The next item is from the state, and it's announcing the free disposal of banned, unusable pesticides available to Maine residents. And they will be doing collections, but people have to register by September 23rd. George has actually put this up on a slide on the internet, and we're trying to get the word out as best we can. That's a reminder. Go to our website, and there's a link. Geo Insights has forwarded a bit of information to us about Irving Oil Terminal's emission license renewal. They have applied to the state for a renewal of their license. I included the cover letter because the rest of it is a book, and anyone who would like to read the book, I actually have a copy of it. And the Maine Tourism Association is the final item in your notes. Because I have a book, I don't have that one as handy. It's announcing their Maine Invites You, and it's a rate and ad contract if we wanted to participate in the Maine Tourism Association's annual book. And there's some information on how that's distributed. We received a check of $6,129 from Maine Municipal for our workers' comp savings. And that's it.
Question, Jim.
Yes.
On the town website, is there a list of those banned pesticides so people can actually know which ones they need to?
I believe there's a
turn in?
link. I believe there's a link and some additional information available. Let me look here. And there's the link to the state site, so we
Okay, all
they
right.
should be able to
So
find,
they can find it out.
what they can go
Good.
on and I know we did in the last year when they ran this program, we did have a few residents that took advantage of it. We were on an off year, as we are this year, for having a household hazardous waste disposal day. So I contacted a few people that were on my list who missed the last household hazardous waste day, and I know that at least 2 people at Searsport took advantage of that. Pre-registered, drove to Bangor, I think it was, and they would get rid of their old pesticides.
Good.
That's it, correspondence, James?
That's it.
Item 10, treasurer's warrant. Take a motion on that.
I'll move it, we accept that pending our signatures.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the treasurer's warrant on pending signature. All in favor? 5-0. Item 11, town manager report.
Public Works Department has been working on several projects over the past month. They ditched several areas and worked on road shoulders. Last month they brought the downtown plow truck in and actually painted it. It's no longer camouflage. The crew worked on under drains on Warren and Nickel Street. They also started the library back ramp step project. We hope to have that completed this month. Roman Paving will be here later in the month to pave the wharf ramp and a portion of Prospect Street where we replace the under drain. No significant news out of wastewater. In Carver Memorial Library, I've been in contact with the Maine Community Foundation about the progress of the painting grant. I made a full report and we are on track to start that project next week. The ambulance responded to 60 calls for service in August. The crews did 3 interfacility transfers. At this point, we are 62 calls ahead of this time last year. The EMT class that we spoke about for the past 2 months is scheduled to start this week. Both ambulances are running good. The fire department responded to 15 calls for service. They issued 40 burn permits. The chief reports that he had a problem with the second set of jaws of life, the motor length. He's checking for repairs and will report back to us. Randy's efforts in code enforcement to get abandoned properties cleaned up is really starting to see some progress. Last month, CMP cleaned up their property at the intersection of Partridge Road and Mount Ephraim Road. Another property a few hundred yards down the road is being cleaned up and torn down. A third property on Route 1 is also in the process of being torn down. The Searsport Police Department responded to 197 calls for service during the month of August. The Maritime Heritage Days posed no problems for the department. All vehicles up to date on service and running well. Both the chief and Officer Mushrow were able to take vacations last month. The chief met with school officials last month to discuss the incoming classes. He also spoke to the freshman class about internet security, harassment, bullying, and the use of social media. In recreation, Carrie helped organize some of the Maritime Heritage Days events and brought in a few of the events too. She continues to organize the Fling in the Fall events. Carrie has been working with the after-school program to try to transition our programming to them. We will be holding several meetings over the next months to come up with a plan for the future of recreation. In the town office, we are in the hiring process. The timeline for this was delayed when I came down with the flu late last month. Members of staff are working hard to prepare for the upcoming election. In committees, the Historic Preservation Committee met last month and continue to discuss the possible ordinance changes to protect significant historic structures. The Comprehensive Plan Committee met last month as well to continue their efforts. That's it.
We accept the report.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to accept town manager report. Any comment? All those in favor? 5-0. Selectmen's report. Aaron, you have anything?
Nothing for me this week.
Mark?
Yes, I would like to mention that I'm involved with the head of the Bay Business Association, and we've scheduled a meeting. It will take place upstairs in Union Hall on October 20th from 5 to 7. They want to discuss the introduction of a new website that all businesses in the town can use, and any other matters pertaining to business, and everyone's welcome to attend, and there'll be some refreshments.
Good. Thank you.
Nothing tonight.
Okay.
Tomorrow night, Waldo County Selectmen will meet out in Waldo Town Hall with the county commissioners, and it come about because of some questions that came up at our Waldo County Budget Committee meeting last month. We want to talk about filling vacancies on the Budget Committee when someone is not reelected, dies, or whatever, it's up to, if it were to be me, it would be up to one of you four to take my remaining time. If none of you wanted to take my remaining time on my 3-year term, then right now we're stuck. We operate with a vacancy. What we're doing is making a proposal to change it, and that's in Jim's hands. He's going to handle that. To change it so that if none of you wanted to take my position, then it would go out to the rest of the members in the district, the rest of the towns in the district, to find one person to fill that term, to complete that term, rather than leave it vacant. We don't have a problem with getting a quorum, but I think it's important that we get representation from the 9 people that make up the Waldo County budget, because they bring different things to the table. The city of Belfast has different problems than, say, a town of Thorndike, which is more of a farming community, and we want to hear from both sides as we sit, and what's important to one may not be important to the other, and where do we fit in the middle and that stuff, so we're fair with limited dollars. So that's going to be on the agenda. The other thing that is going around, you probably read it when you passed that down, what's going on with the county jails. And one county has been purchasing space at a jail, and another county is purchasing space, and the prices are fluctuating all over. These 3 items that I gave you have appeared in the Hartford Current, so we want to talk about that. The commissioners have come up with a suggestion or a thought that we ought to pursue, and I'll let them lay it out tomorrow night. But, he did not have figures when he discussed an option that he felt may be necessary. So maybe he's got some figures. I want you all to hear it, because if there's a decision made to move forward or look into it deeper, I think all the selectmen in the county should be on board. And then the commissioners want to open it up. They haven't had a meeting in a while. They want to open it up to all the selectmen. And any of these meetings like this are open to the public also. But if you have any questions, they're there to answer. That's all I know about what's going to be on the agenda. What comes from there, I don't know. But I think we should probably all touch base and know what's going on around us, because it affects us. Also, this morning I was in a business, and a employee came up to me and wanted to make sure that the fire department knew that she felt that they did a great job on that wildfire that we had, which went on for 3 days. And she said it was really impressive to see them up there doing what they do.
Were they up there today? I saw trucks coming.
Yeah, there's another one. Same area. but
Same
not-
area?
Not
4 days.
Not the same one, but same area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm done.
I just got one thing, in fact, it kind of falls in with, what we're gonna be discussing in executive session as far as, economic development. I spoke today with, local businessman, Ron Merrithew. He's building a new garage over here on the, east side of town. Making quite an investment. And I asked him if he would be interested in doing some kind of a opening when he get ready to go into business there. Maybe a ribbon cutting ceremony of some type. He's all for it. He thought it was a great idea. I'd like to think that might someday become common practice. When a business opens, why, we work with them on a little ceremony, whether it's a new business or an existing one that's making an expansion. It's good publicity for them and the town.
Right.
Yeah. I know in the past, I did one with Sundog Solar when they were in town, and then with the Coastal Cafe, with the prior owners.
Mhm.
But usually after this point, it's just been them making requests if they'd like to do something like that.
Yep. I was anticipating one when the grasshopper opened.
There you go.
That would be nice for Dollar General too.
Yep.
They're building a brand new building.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They've been talked to.
Oh, okay.
So maybe that's something that we should be proactive in. Maybe James reaching out to people and if they'd be interested in us coming in and taking up their time or whatever and getting
Right.
some free advertising.
Right.
I'm always looking for a red ribbon. And I actually have a drawer full of it in my office because when we opened the health center, we couldn't find any red ribbon, and Dick found some reddish ribbon. And then in my travels, the first time I came across a nice thick red ribbon, I picked up a couple spools of it. So we'll reach out to both them
Yep.
and make sure that we'll get a date and time we can do it.
If I get anything for Christmas, I'll save the wrap.
There you go.
Okay.
In an emergency, go to the police department, they have that yellow stuff says crime scene.
Crime scene
We can
tape,
use it.
Any other comments from the board? James, do you have anything?
Maine Municipal Association annual meeting is coming up October 5th and 6th. Jack, the books are in your boxes, but Jack turned in his registration form. Just wanted to remind you if you wanted to get in and go out there, get a registration to me.
And it's well worth going. I've been to several of them, and if you can make them, there's a lot of good information there, and you get a chance to meet folks from around the state that are in the same position you are. Being nothing else, now go to item 13, again, open to the public. Sir?
I'm very new in this area, just 3 months. We built a house on Birch Lane on Highway 1, across the street from 50,000 Book, you know this area. And I find out you have a meeting today, and I'm sorry I show up without invitation. My name is Felix Burda. I am retired civil engineer. I am 84, going on 85 right now. With me, my son, 19-year-old, was student in Orno, and my wife, 59-year-old, she is a lawyer in Maine, and she opened a new office on open house in Belfast. She bought a little house there and opened the office there. And we live in Birch Lane, just 3 months. Telling you the truth, I'm in love with Maine. Not only because this air is so fresh and I breathe like a baby, you know, I sleep like a baby, by the way. Because in my age, I can tell you different between, we live, for 37 years I live in St. Louis, Missouri, 1,400 miles from here. And it's completely different. The air is not even close to this quality of your air. First of all, over there, when you breathe like you sitting above this teapot who's boiling. You know, you perspired, you know, air it's not good. But here, it's paradise. I don't know if you understand you're in paradise, but I'm telling you, from age of top of my age, 84 going on 85, this is the paradise. People is friendly. This is the best quality of people we've met. Usually I have little accent because when I came here 37 years ago in America from Russia, my wife is American, and sometimes people asking me, "Where are you from?" And I said, "I'm a refugee from Alabama." You know, and they say, "It's explained, it's explained." This is the funny part. Anyway, I'm in love with life, period. This is why I live so long. I'm not smoking, little bit social drinking. You know difference between alcoholic and social drinking? Alcoholic come home, exhausted from work, you put a bottle of vodka in front of him, nobody around, and he just drink and drink and drink. Social. He called friends. If friends are coming, then we drink a little bit. If not coming, next time. You know. And I'm social drinker. Anyway, why I'm here? This morning we called City Hall and they say, you have a meeting. And my wife said, you always ask me question, why? Can you just go and ask yourself? I said, wow, good idea. By the way, can't find it. I go to Troger's, this store, and one young lady said, follow me. And I followed and find your office here. Anyway, I'm sorry to tell you all this story, but I live in Russia for 47 years. I graduated from college and university. I'm civil engineer, but now 84, you know, you're nothing. Everything was then, long time ago, but not for me. I'm enjoying today and sitting here and listen to your telling you the truth. I didn't understand a lot of it, and my wife said, you need a hearing aid. And I told her, darling, I hear too much. I don't need any more to hear. I don't want any mechanical electrical in my ear. It was making me noise like, you know, like I hear enough for me. But why I'm here? We live on Highway 1. And funny part, we're coming to downtown 25 miles per hour. A little bit farther, 35. And a little bit farther, and 1 mile before you're going to Belfast, it's 55. And this noise is very different between 25, 35 and 55. Once, a few months ago, we drive from Bangor with my wife. She is driving. And huge 18-wheelers behind us. And he makes such a noise. He wanted us to let him, but we cannot do. It's two-way highway. And he almost hitting us, you know. And when we stop to go to our Birch Lane, he make a run around us, and I don't know, by miracle, he didn't break himself and maybe kill us. 55 miles per hour for 1 mile, maybe a mile and a half. Can we do something about it? Look, I'm not demanding, I'm not yelling and screaming. I'm just asking, you know better. If something can be done, because 25 miles, 35 miles, 55 miles, 35 miles again. For 1 mile, it's city limit. More people coming to live here. We coming till we gone, you know. This is, we decided. We stop here. We're not, no more traveling. No, traveling is okay, but this is the place we make our home. And another thing, our neighbors, we have a road is gravel and dirt. And some of them driving with this 55 what they got in this neighborhood, and dust after them, it's like a hurricane, you know. And I think, my God, it's subdivision, it's 6 people living there, 6 families. 3 of them permanently, 3 of them coming for a few weeks, you know. But one of them who was permanently driving like crazy. What I can say, we're a free country, everybody doing whatever he wants, you know. But just respect each other, just understand each other. Why we have to, in this beautiful area with all this green around us, ocean, why we have to just drive this 55 on a little street? What we drive, taking dog for a walk, sometimes walking around, and they're just driving like no tomorrow. What can be done? If it's possible, I'm not asking do it or not. I ask if we can do something. I know in St. Louis, in subdivision, it's 15 miles per hour, 10 miles per hour, because it's all children playing balls, you know, balls coming on the road, this. It's normal. It's kind of, you don't have to explain it. This is just living area. It's not highway with people driving 60, 70 and nothing around, no kids playing, no dogs walking. But here in little subdivision, can we put sign limit 10 or 15 or whatever? Look, I'm apologize for my stupid question, and but I see you're very distinguished people, and I know you elected, said so, yes, and then you can answer my question. Maybe it's going to be no. I respect you, but if it's possible to do something about it, I really appreciate it.
Okay, first off, I want to welcome you to Searsport.
What?
First off, I want to welcome you to Searsport, you and your family.
Oh, thank you.
In the state of Maine, Maine Department of Transportation sets the speed limits on all public ways. We do not set them.
State.
The state sets the speed limits on all public ways. We've asked them in the past to look at that in the town. James, can you include that
Yep, I'll include it.
when we ask them to look at the east side?
Yep.
And as far as private ways, you know, subdivision, things of that nature, we have no control over those. That's within the subdivision.
Birch is a private thing, right?
Private.
It's not a town way.
But
Right.
the owners can erect a sign.
Right, the owners can,
Is there,
but we can't enforce it though, right?
Correct.
is there a development agreement?
I don't know.
No.
Does
Not
the
with
planning board do that?
No.
Yeah, they say they have lots. What's not used yet.
It's an older subdivision.
Oh.
It
I don't think the planning board ever sets a speed
No,
limit.
the planning board
No.
does not get involved in that.
No.
But the homeowners themselves could just get together and informally pick a number and have a sign erected, right? At
Yep.
their expense.
Do you have an association? Any kind of association?
I really don't know. Very friendly, good people.
Yeah.
You know, but some, you know.
Be great to
Yeah.
get your neighbors together and get a consensus of what to do. About that.
You own that road, so that is yours to do with as you please in that regard. So I would encourage you maybe somebody puts together a barbecue or something and you all get together and have a party and then maybe talk about that.
But the town cannot enforce that.
But this one is 55, 25 here, then 35 miles, a little bit farther, and then 55, and then 35 again.
we'll look at that. We'll ask them to look at that.
I heard
Say-
something you talk about, some speed and accidents and all
Yeah.
of this.
Yeah, we'll include your request.
That was on the east end and you're on the west end, but they'll add your area to it.
Take a look at that.
Ask DOT to look at it.
You going to look at it?
Yeah, we'll ask the state to address it.
Yeah, I really appreciate
We will do that.
it. And if you want my help somehow, I am civil engineer, I know things. You know, they say knowledge is yours forever. If you have it, nobody can even steal it. If you know something, you know it.
Right.
You know. I'm sorry. Thank you for
coming.
Thank you for coming. Right.
Thank you very much. To listen to.
No, calls from the,
None?
from the public? Okay, now take a motion to go into executive session. MSA 1 405 6C.
Second.
Confidential economic development discussion.
Wait a second, do we need to, for general assistance?
You'll have general assistance as well if you wanna do it all in one motion.
Yeah, 6F too.
Okay, that's okay. One more.
Doug? You made the motion?
I seconded it. Oh, or,
Nobody made it, did they?
I'll make
no,
that,
me.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion made and seconded to enter executive session for general assistance matters and economic development. All those in favor? Okay, we're going to executive session at 7:41.
I'll make a motion to get out of executive session at 8:53.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded to go to executive session at 8:53. All those in favor?
And as far as decisions, I'll make a motion that as to PA 16004 that we abate 2014 taxes.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to abate the 2014 taxes on case PA 1604. Any discussion?
Second.
Hearing none, I'll call a vote. All those in favor?
All those in favor. And I'll move we adjourn.
Second.
Adjourned at 8:55.